My name is Nicholas, and I'm hungry.
Hey guys, welcome back. Over the last few years, Nikocado Avocado, one of YouTube's most infamous mukbangers, and his husband Orland's roller coaster ride of a relationship has taken us on one wild ride. At this point, they're known for their trolling and outrageous videos together, but we need to remember that their relationship once looked nothing like the sensationalized train wreck that it is today. So we are going to turn back the clocks and discover how their relationship evolved into the insanity that we see today. Believe it or not, their relationship at one time looked relatively like most other couples. From their humble beginnings and makeups to breakups, their relationship slowly turned into trolling, scandalous accusations, and struggles to fight for their marriage. So let's explore the evolving and ever-changing relationship between Nick and Orland. In order to set the scene, we can't start with the craziness that we see today. Nope. We need to rewind the clock to right about here. This story begins in the year 2013, when a little unknown YouTuber, Orland Home, was posting videos about veganism and loving to talk about all things fruit and vegetables. At this time, Orland, who is originally from Colombia, was living in Florida with his family. And oddly enough, he sort of had a British accent.
Specialized in its mangoes. Mangoes everywhere. There's mangoes everywhere.
Do you guys hear it, or is it just me?
Well, the fruits come from. It's not like a mechanical process where you go to the market and you get your fruits and you don't know where it came from. When you go to local farms, organic farms, you're supporting local farming and you're helping out the planet.
And if anyone can explain what the that was, I would be forever grateful. At this time, Orland was doing something he loved, which was being close to his family, being one with nature, and exploring all the fruits and vegetables that Florida had to offer.
Okay, bye.
Meanwhile, 1,000 miles north, a little unknown violinist named Nicholas was living out one of his passions by playing music to crowds in New York.
I went to school for violin performance. I imagine being on a stage and playing my violin and making music, being a performer and an artist and making great emotions through my violin.
And if you're wondering how these two, who were leading such completely opposite lives, met, the answer is through a chance encounter on Facebook in a vegan chat room.
My first thought when I saw Orland was, he's really sweet. He brought me some mangoes from Florida. He was living in South Florida at the time. I was living in New York City. This is 2012, 2013. And
Food.
he brought me food. I mean, come on, mukbanger destiny.
I know, I took them on Spirit, and they were not having it with me. They're like, you can't bring that. I'm like, yes, I can. Yeah, and then they let me bring it in. I have to pay them to let me bring it in. And I brought you 2 books.
I know, and so that was my first thought. It was really sweet for bringing all that stuff.
By the end of 2013, these two were absolutely smitten with each other, and they would stay in communication through phone and the internet, as well as the occasional visits where they would fly out to meet each other and reconnect.
Hi viewers, this is Nikocado. I'm at the airport and I'm waiting for my flight. I'm in Washington, D.C. I have these roses here for Orlin. They smell so nice. I hope he likes them. I know he'll like them. Got these for his mother. And one last surprise for Orlin. This is one of the very last tomatoes from my garden. I grew them at my parents' house. He's gonna be very excited to get this tomato.
And at this point, they were officially boyfriends and were dating. Now, this is the part that's really important, but I can't pinpoint an exact date, but within the year, the pair would pack their bags and move to Colombia, which we will find out more in depth later was due to Orlin's health. While in Colombia, this is really where Nick flourished on his YouTube channel, because believe it or not, it was Orlin who introduced him to YouTube. Orlin was the YouTuber in the relationship at the time, and he really convinced Nick to start his own channel and explain the financial benefits that he could obtain.
Because I wouldn't be here without him. I mean, he's the one who told me what YouTube was, that you can make money on here. He's the one that told me to do mukbangs.
So let's take a time out so I can explain a few things to you. By the way, how are you liking this video so far? If you do, can you show me some love by pressing the like button? Also, my goal is to make binge-worthy content for you guys. So once you're done with this video, head over to my channel for more viewing pleasure. Now, on with the show. Over the years, these two have made so many videos where they answer questions from their fans about their relationship. The earliest video I could find where they answered some really important questions is this one. Now, by this point, these two had known each other over a few years, and as with happens in all relationships, there are going to be certain behaviors or quirks that start irritating you about your partner. Also, we all have factors which occurred in our childhoods that have lasting effects on our relationships as adults. And in this case, it is important to highlight several points of contention that these two fight about even at present day that I was surprised to see were consistently present from day one. So here they are. So early on in their relationship, they were asked what they argue about most. And the answer is really eye-opening and surprising.
What do we argue about the most?
Food.
Yeah,
We have food fights.
small food fights though. We get over them pretty quickly.
Yeah, okay.
Next came the question, who wears the pants in the relationship? And I think at present day, it's easy to answer this question for everyone.
I told Orlin to help me. He better help me.
Bring it out. We don't need to keep it. You don't have legs?
I'm tired.
Of what?
No, don't bring that.
What?
Take this.
But back then, this was the answer, and it was pretty surprising as well.
It's 50-50. I think I'm half naked and he's
Yeah.
we split the pants in half.
We're new.
There's some things where I like to have the dominancy, and there's some things where I just give it all to him. I let him be in control.
Now, this one is really interesting. They were asked what is something that they do not like about their partner.
I wish you were more motivated sometimes. More dedicated or something.
Yeah. I have no drive. Okay.
Yeah. Super smart, a lot of knowledge in his head, but no desire to spread it.
Pay attention to what Nick just said, because oddly enough, there is a lot of underlying tension still to this day between Orlin and Nick about this very topic. In addition, Nick was adopted at a very early age, and he never knew his biological family. And that affected Nick, both romantic and familial, because this theme keeps popping up in their relationship for years to come.
Here's me as a baby.
was me as a baby. And my parents, I was adopted from Ukraine, and my parents actually they're American, they flew over to Ukraine to adopt me. And they said, they were able to like select babies, like which one they want to touch and which one they pick out, it's like shopping. The first thing that stuck out was my cheeks, and they said, oh, he looks really healthy, oh my gosh, look at those huge cheeks. Now, I don't know my family, I don't know my birth mom or my birth dad, so.
These problems slowly crept up over time. Back then, all was well with the world. At this point, our couple were in Colombia, and gone were the days with Nick's long and shaggy hair. He's pretty much kept the same style from this point on. Orlin vowed to his audience that they would focus more on making new raw vegan content in the future.
I'm very lucky to have Nicholas in my life, and I'm glad I get to spend time with him. I feel very fortunate to be able to have him in my life. We're gonna start making more videos soon. Promise.
So they kept doing their YouTube videos while in Colombia. And speaking of them moving to Colombia, welcome to Colombia, guys, a place Orlin holds near and dear to his heart. They love to explore the local fruits and vegetables and really enjoyed just spending their days together. As we have learned, their relationship, even back then, revolved around food. And they are self-proclaimed foodies who love food and shared that love of food together right from the beginning. And remember, they met in a vegan chat forum, their first date was a fruit festival, Orlin convinced Nick to start his own vegan mukbang channel, and it seems like even their fights revolved around food, according to them. Their love of food is really what bonds and connects these two together. And they even started their own little family, including their pets like Mr. Noodle and Miss Kitty. What's really interesting is that the name Nikocado Avocado was actually something that Orlin came up with. And everything started to fall into place, and Nick was gaining more and more popularity. He even issued an eating challenge to the masses, which challenged people to eat even more avocados than he did in one sitting.
By the way, this guy did my challenge. You can check out his channel. I have his channel linked down below. This one looks really pretty. So, I'm gonna show you up close. Here's the avocado. You find an avocado to brighten up your day. Now I know they're pretty expensive. This one's nice. They're pretty expensive in a lot of parts of the world. Luckily, these are not that expensive here.
Now, while things were picking up steam with their YouTube channels, not all was a bed of roses at that time. Nick had his fair share of obstacles by living in a foreign country, and it made it difficult for him to live normally like Orlin or the other locals. So for the next 2 or 2.5 years, the pair would continue to live in their apartment in Colombia with their pets, film raw vegan videos, and they continued to grow closer and closer together as a couple. And by this time, Orlin made the decision to take their life into a totally new direction. By February 2017, they had been dating for almost 4 years, and Orlin decided to pop the question to Nick.
Hold on.
You love your hair.
What's your hair?
Hold on, let me play. I'm gonna play this, and then we can start. We'll just put that with the pasta.
No, we did not. It's really good for you. You really want this avocado. It's a special one.
Why are you being so weird? What's wrong with you?
Here. You really want this avocado.
What are you
You really want it.
What are you doing?
It's an avocado.
How did you? What?
Will you marry me?
While this on-camera proposal was sweet, it was actually a reenactment. See, Orlin had taken Nick to Cocoy National Park in Colombia to carry out the actual proposal.
So I took him to Cocoy National Park. That's kind of close to where we live, and
He did it with like no cameras. I wish, because we were walking around, it was so beautiful, and all of a sudden he opened up an avocado, and there was a ring inside, and I was like, what?
yeah.
So this was all a reenactment, kind of. I don't know, but like it kind of went like that. I was just like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?" I was so in disbelief.
They decided to celebrate and share the joy with their followers on YouTube by doing a mukbang with us. This was actually a very historic time because it had just been about 2 years since the United States had legalized same-sex marriage. During this time, they discussed their actual wedding plans, which they decided they would be having in Florida. Probably my favorite part of the video is Mr. Noodle's reaction when Nick flashes his ring and it scares him.
We're getting married. Oh, sorry, baby.
Noodle's gonna be our first.
Oh, sorry, baby.
Noodle's gonna be our first. Like what we call it?
We're going to Florida, and we aren't having like a big ceremony. We aren't going to a church. We aren't having friends because we have no friends. We don't. I mean, there's a lot of people we could invite, but the main reason is pretty much it's just too expensive to have a wedding. I mean, it's a lot. We don't have that kind of money.
Also, once they were married, they were hoping to help their living arrangements in Colombia because at the time, Nick was allowed into Colombia under a tourist visa, but he would have to leave every 3 months due to their laws and regulations.
To have the title is really good in case something happens to one of us. We basically have been living together for years. And I have to leave Colombia every 3 months because I'm not a resident. But if we were to get married, then I could apply for a marriage visa and not have to leave every 3 months, which like eats up my savings.
And they also discussed their plans for possibly a honeymoon, and we get a glimpse into their activities and daily life outside of mukbangs.
Our honeymoon, we might be going to Vegas and eating at the Heart Attack Grill, the world famous Heart Attack Grill. I don't know, he's obsessed with watching all the videos about it. But that's like the only reason we thought about Vegas, because we don't party, we don't gamble, we would not go to the strip clubs or the casinos. I mean, would you go to a casino? No, it's just not us. Like, I like to go to bed at like 7 p.m., so
We just want food.
we just want to go there for the food.
Really bad food.
What we now know is that Nick actually went there to the Heart Attack Grill with Hungry Fat Chick, which was actually the very first video that YouTube recommended to me out of nowhere, where I first learned about Hungry Fat Chick and Nikocado Avocado.
I can't believe it's happening. Last night, I remember we were standing in here and we were like doing something with our clothes, and I looked at you and I'm like, I can't believe we're getting married. I can't believe it. It's just like a weird, it's like, is this really happening?
Is it really happening?
I don't know. I hope you're excited like we are. So cheers to a great start. Cheers to a new year.
So you would think that all would be well around this time. But unfortunately, less than a month after this video posted, one of the first big public dramas between Nick and Orlin was aired out to their audience.
It's a part of my life that's kept in the dark. Like all of us try to keep parts of our lives in the dark.
weeks before their big wedding day, Nick and Orlin got into a big fight.
We decided that it'll be appropriate to open up. I know that I have problems. I know that I have a lot of problems. All right? I've talked about this in other videos. I've been in and out of counseling and therapy since I was a child. You know, it's not fun to have problems. It's not like I chose to be this way. You know, some things, some traits I have, I've always been here since I was a child, and I know.
Nick decided to vent and discuss what happened on camera to his audience. The day before, Nick and Orlin were attempting to follow a recipe making dumplings, and things did not go according to plan.
I don't even know if you should make this video. So something happened just right now. Will and I got in a fight, and we're about to get married. We're about to get married in like a few weeks, 2 weeks. And I hate when we fight. It's bad.
And they ended up being so frustrated that they went into separate parts of the house. At least that's what Nick thought at the time. And that's when he started to voice his opinions out loud of things that he was frustrated with. But the problem is that Orlin had been listening the entire time.
You know, I was angry and I was saying things to get it off my chest. I was saying things, you know, when you're angry, you say things you don't mean. You say things that will hurt people. Anyways, he went to the stairwell. He was sitting at the top of the stairwell, listening to me speak out loud my frustration. And I was basically, I don't even want to say what I was saying. It's really bad. Oh, it's so embarrassing. But long story short, I was just being ungrateful for where we live. You know, we have an apartment. We have plants, we have a bed to sleep in. You know, sometimes I can be so ungrateful. I really try. And it's really it's because of him. He's the one that helps me be grateful.
And things escalated to the point where Orlin had some pretty unstable thoughts about himself at this time.
You know, Orlin wants to help me. He wants to be there. He wants to help me with the recipes. And because he loves it. But he's not very good at it either. We both don't know what we're doing. And so we're trying to do these darn dumplings. And they were so freaking hard. They were so... We didn't have enough flour, this and that. It just looked so easy. We were just got so frustrated. We didn't eat anything in the morning. We were just kind of... And so I just took over and he got really upset. And he went upstairs to sit by the stairwell, and I was in the kitchen doing the dumplings.
And in this next video, Nick and Orlin decided to show their audience a different side to their relationship that they normally kept private. In it, Nick revealed several problems that both he and Orlin had been struggling with, both personally and in their relationship.
To be myself, to share my ups and downs in life, to not sugarcoat the truth. And everyone's saying that it's fake. The video about Orlin having behavior, wanting to kill himself over something so stupid as dumplings, that my love for him is fake, that a relationship's fake, that our marriage coming up is gonna be fake.
And he also discussed the isolation he felt by living in Colombia and the sadness that he felt about his relationship with his family.
For the most part, my family doesn't want much to do with me. I saw a comment and someone said, Nikocado has no family, Nikocado has no friends, Nikocado has no one. He lives in a country where he doesn't even speak the language. He can't even walk outside to talk to anyone. He feels isolated and trapped in a box. And YouTube's his only way to vent because he has no one. And it's true. It's true.
I feel as though the month of March, right before their wedding, really changed the course for their relationship both on and off YouTube. Because from this point on, they would just get more and more candid about their struggles on camera.
You are getting a glimpse into her life, and I do want to share the good and the bad with you. I want to try to be as real as possible.
1 week after Nick posted about their fights publicly, the pair sat down to tell their audience some bombshell revelations about their relationship.
Some of you may or may not know, Nicholas went on a trip to America, to London, and to Asia. Nick and I had a disagreement before he left, and we kind of took a break from each other.
They revealed that 10 months prior, they had been arguing quite a lot, decided they needed space, and while Nick was already required to leave the country for his visa, he decided to make other plans.
We were starting to have major issues in our relationship. This was like the first batch of them after being together for about 2 years.
According to Nick, this was around the first time that really serious problems in their relationship started popping up.
So we took a break from each other, and I stayed here in Colombia. And Nick went on a trip. Nick went to the US first, and then to London, and then to Asia.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing that you did in Florida was he actually cheated on me.
This trip is and will continue to be a bone of contention in their relationship because during this trip, Nick cheated on Orlin many times. And if there are any of you out there like me who knows what it feels like to be cheated on, once trust is broken, it's so hard to get back. And not only that, but what cheating does to your partner. Not only that broken trust, but that person's self-esteem and their self-worth. It's just the most awful, terrible thing. And we need to focus on this particular fight because this breach of trust will be a topic that Orlin still brings up years later. And a lot of his resentment leads back to this moment in time. So listen to this part really closely.
There were 12 people in total. Putting that out there, I'm forever going to be shamed. But I'm
that
human.
You remember.
What is so painful to watch, and I totally relate to this, is that the person who was always hurt the most remembers all of the details. And it's hard to get those images and thoughts out of your head. And what's painfully obvious is how much this affected Orlin. I mean, Nick barely remembers his escapades, while Orlin can remember and recite every single detail.
Well, anyways, he did that, and I didn't find out about them until a while. But so then after, how many hookups do you have in Florida?
I don't remember.
Well, I think he tried to have 2, but only had enough time for 1.
I don't know, two or something.
And then he went to Virginia. We're in Virginia now?
Yeah, are you gonna go like spot by spot?
Well, in Virginia you had one with a friend, a mutual friend, that I met thanks to you. And then you had repeats, didn't you, in Virginia?
No.
Yeah, the one with the Tempur-Pedic bed that you really liked.
And in New York there was like 3 or 4. But by the time I got to London, I was just...
You tried to get 2 in London, but it didn't work out. You tried to do 1 there, but you could never find the time. But you were trying really hard. But then you did have one at your parents' place.
From Nick's point of view, he wanted to let loose, and he'd been monogamous for years with Orlin, and he just wanted to enjoy himself. And in his mind, since they were taking a break, he thought that all was fair game.
It was just like, all right, I'm going to be adventurous. It's like, okay, up until Orlin, I hadn't had a boyfriend for years of not being with anyone else romantically or whatever. So it was just like a test for me.
It's a long test.
Well,
Orlin found out while Nick was out of the country about all of these escapades, and he kept reading all of these messages over and over again that Nick had posted on Craigslist.
Okay, so we had a big argument over the phone by the time I arrived to Bangkok.
And like he had found out.
Yeah, he leaves a big paper trail.
Well, see, I wasn't here's the thing, I was not trying to be sneaky. I wasn't trying to like cover my tracks. And I only deleted them because he kept on reading them every night, saying, I keep reading them, I'm so sad. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna delete them because the ads were like back in the United States. I didn't make them in Asia.
He made the rounchiest.
That's not
the
true.
Rouch.
They were not rouchy. They were very normal for Craigslist.
They were so gross.
Oh my god.
So by the time that Nick came back into Colombia, they realized that they both wanted to work on the relationship together, but another problem quickly arose.
Anyways, that happened, and we broke up because of this. And
we broke up. We broke
like,
up before I left. That was why I was.
Yeah, but that was like the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
That was like the cherry on top. Well, when he came back, he brought me a bug, a little bugger.
Brought a bug.
He brought me a bug.
I feel awful. It's like, you know, you have to take personal responsibility. It's like, luckily it was nothing serious, but
it was an uncomfortable bug.
Oh.
So after that fiasco was dropped, weeks later, they were on a flight to Florida to get married.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
You look sad.
I'm still sad. There was a lot of sadness.
We're
laughing it off now, but there was a lot of sadness.
No, it was.
Yeah.
I told you, I was like, you deserve someone better than me.
Mm-hmm.
I say all the time, you deserve someone better than me. How do you, you know, we should go to therapy. We should go to therapy. Like, how do you move on from this? Like, I don't know. Like, what do I do to earn back trust, to earn back it, like, I don't know.
I don't know either. Well, I mean, we kind of worked it out, and I mean, now we're getting married.
A few weeks later, these two were off to Florida to get married. And it was a small wedding at a courthouse, and their families were there as well.
This is where people sign the papers. In line right now. My parents are over there. They gave us a flower with a pen to sign up.
They were all smiles and ready to start this new chapter in their life.
That's the room we go in. This is the room, everyone.
You have come here today to be joined in matrimony in accordance with the laws of the state of Florida. You will be exchanging vows that will unite the two of you in marriage. These vows are an outward symbol of the inner union of your hearts. Nicholas, repeat after me. I promise to love you.
Sorry. I messed up.
To make our home. One of love.
One of love.
After officially being married, they decided to celebrate by heading over to Chick-fil-A.
Come on, baby boo-boo.
So, Chick-fil-A, the business representation, has made statements about gay people saying like, we don't think they deserve marriage, we don't think they deserve the same rights, something along those lines.
Well, we got everything.
We just got married at the courthouse.
We're gonna get our burgers.
And we're gonna eat here to celebrate. Because, honestly...
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Life is short. I need to try this food after you, husband.
Thank you.
You're welcome, husband. I can't believe we're married. Oh my god.
Eating chicken XO so that
I can't believe
it's
it.
been a long time.
Oh my gosh.
And afterwards, they filmed a wedding cake mukbang to share with their fans. And this newlywed couple was in a really good place and had hopes to put the past behind them. The problem is, when you have really serious issues as a couple, and then you don't address them, you're only sweeping them under the rug to deal with them at a later time. And that's exactly what they did. They brushed their issues to the side, ignored them, and kept pressing forward.
No diet. You guys, you know I'm on a very strict diet most of the time.
He's very strict with his diet.
Very, very, very strict.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
He eats very healthy.
like people think
Like you eat really healthy.
very. I'm very like particular about what I do. So I've been very strict for the past like couple weeks.
Yeah.
So it's just like, this is our wedding now. No diets at the wedding. Come on now.
2 months after their marriage, they ended up going to Thailand. And they also filmed a lot of travel mukbangs for Nick's channel. And they explored various cities throughout Thailand and even stopped at the world famous Unicorn Cafe.
I'm in Thailand on a vacation, honey. No time for healthy hair. Aren't you happy that we're doing a mukbang together?
Yeah.
Yay.
And all was well with the world for this happy newlywed couple. But as we all know with Nikocado and Orland, their relationship is like a roller coaster, up 1 minute, down another. Don't you wish honeymoons could last forever? Well, after they returned back from their trip, and they were back in Colombia, newly uncovered struggles were revealed in their relationship. It wasn't too long after they returned from their honeymoon that Nick once again got candid on camera about his struggles. While in Thailand, they had limited access to the internet, so when they were back at home that first night, Orland and Nick were lying in bed, and Nick was scrolling through his phone looking at comments under his honeymoon videos that he had posted.
I remember laying next to him and we're just scrolling through the comments, scrolling through, and we went down probably 20, 25 comments and not a single nice one. Not a single one. Orland burst into tears because people were telling him awful, awful things. And he never did anything to anyone. Such abuse on YouTube.
This really affected Nick and Orland at the time, but in two very different ways. Okay, so here's when we need to read the tea leaves a little bit, because while Nick is an open book, Orland holds a lot of his thoughts to himself, or at least in private. And it's my belief that this moment was a pivotal point in both their YouTube personas as well as real life behind the camera tension in their relationship about YouTube. For Nick, he didn't understand all the hate. He was opening up his life, the good, bad, and the ugly, to his audience, and he was so driven and motivated to keep creating and coming up with new content.
To wake up after being so excited to make a video to see people calling me gay, calling me telling me to burn, calling me fat, it hurts. If I'm gonna keep doing this, I need to feel motivated and inspired, and right now I don't feel inspired. The hate really gets to me, okay? The hate really, really gets to me.
So while the hate was really getting to Nick, I believe that it was manifesting in Orland differently. I think that Orland started to resent being on YouTube, opening up and being vulnerable, only to receive hate. So watch this.
I am making a video. Orland's upset because I asked him to keep the birds quiet.
And we already know that Orland is such a hippie. He loves being in nature and gardening and being with his fruits and vegetables. And he doesn't really care about fame or YouTube. My bet is that after they opened up and were vulnerable and just received overwhelming backlash, I bet he was like, this. But then he has his partner who loves YouTube and loves sharing his life on camera, and that's gotta bring tension into the relationship. Nick really pondered if maybe he should quit his YouTube channel.
I feel like I want to stop. But this is what I love doing at the same time. I love eating for you guys. I love food. I love making videos. I love I love what I do and I don't want to stop. And I feel very confused about the whole thing. Maybe I just need a break.
He talked about how the negative comments underneath his videos were really affecting him.
I need some encouragement. I need some support. Leave a nice comment. And I say this to you guys because I'm a person, you know? I need to feel like what I do is wanted or appreciated. It's like, why am I doing this if everyone hates me? Why am I putting myself out there and exposing all my vulnerabilities, talking about all my problems, talking about the struggles and the flaws I have as a person, sharing my life, sharing my animals, sharing my struggles. Like I'm just being an open book on the internet. Why am I putting myself through this if everyone hates me?
And it wasn't just them. Even Nick's dad noticed the amount of hate that his son was receiving.
My dad told me when I went to go see my family, he said, you know, oh, gee, I love your videos, but I have a hard time watching them because when I see the things people are saying to my son, it really hurts. I just want to make people happy. I just want to share my life.
And it is kind of crazy to fast forward to now and see them both intentionally trolling. And I'm sure that he still is bothered by mean comments, but not as much as they were back then. By the way, I have a whole theory on their antics today, which we will discuss later on in this video. This was a pivotal moment for the couple, as this really changed how Orlin viewed Nick's YouTube channel from this point forward. Also around this time, Nick's viewers were starting to comment about his health because it was about a year since he had stopped his raw vegan mukbangs and started to eat more junk food on a regular basis. Many of his viewers were really concerned about his health, especially because he had been complaining for weeks that he had aches and pains in his body, and people were urging him to slow down on the mukbangs. So in response, Nick posted a 1-year post mukbang blood work video and explained that he had no intentions of slowing down with his eating shows.
Update you guys. I am fine. My tests are perfect. So, it's in Spanish. Well, technically Latin, but I don't know that either. I want to be happy. I want to be able to breathe in and out and just feel content, proud what I'm doing with my life. Like, here's the thing. Everyone's saying, stop doing mukbangs, stop making these videos. But I mentally really enjoy making these videos.
And at this time, Orlin was still trying to be disciplined with his diet, which is another point of contention in their relationship. See, Orlin really wanted to stay disciplined and eat healthy.
Well, since I am on a diet, I'm just eating passion fruit.
How's your fruit?
It's delicious.
Healthy.
Healthy antioxidants.
But at some point, sitting there eating fruit while your partner is stuffing their face with deliciousness, that's gotta be tempting after a while.
What do you think I would do without you?
Make really nice food. Like this.
Look.
Ooh, that looks like it's tasty though. It's tasty, isn't it?
Most people forget certain factors that happened in the past when they see their fights in the present. And when they fight now, Orlin will say that he's pissed because they both gained weight and he's always telling Nick that he eats too much. But back then, the two would joke about how Orlin was basically a feeder and he liked to watch Nick eat and would often encourage him during his mukbangs. And I think it was satisfying to Orlin while he was eating his raw vegetables to see Nick eating, and maybe he thought that he could experience the bad foods through Nick. Anyway, that's my theory. That was never stated by Orlin.
It's very oily.
It looks good though. It's probably really tasty.
It
It kind of looks like poutine. Right?
Oh, imagine if I put cheese on here and heat it up. And had stringy. Oh.
Should I bring you cheese?
No.
I could microwave a slice.
No, that's fine.
What about cheese sauce? We have cheese sauce.
Ooh, we do have cheese sauce. I'm okay.
Also, around this time, their notoriety on YouTube was really starting to take off. Well-known YouTubers like Eugenia Cooney and Tana Mojo were starting to shout them out and take notice.
I click on her account. It was like her. I was like, no. And I said, Eugenia, you watch me? She's like, yes, I love you guys. I was like, oh my God, Orlin, come upstairs. Well, anyways, it really was her.
And then she tweeted you back.
I know. I tweeted, I was like, thank you, Eugenia, for saying hello. And she was just like, oh, you're welcome. I love you and your husband so much. Or that time Tana Mojo put your comment in her video.
Oh, that was really good.
So we've had lots of nice little, like, feel-good moments. Like, oh, you noticed what?
A few months later, Nick and Orlin received horrible news that would add stress to their relationship once again. And Nick actually found out about these new developments while he was doing a live stream on YouNow.
I was just having a good time and doing my live stream, and all of a sudden Orlin walked in and said, Nick, our marriage visa got rejected. And he said, well, let's turn this off, let's talk about it. And I said, no, just tell me now. Essentially, I am being forced to leave. The 25th is when my visa expires. And this is my family, this is my apartment, these are my belongings, this is my table. This is my table, these are my lights, this is my life. And I'm being forced to leave.
This was obviously devastating news for them, and they had a lot of decisions that they needed to make about what they were going to do moving forward. For now, it seemed like Orlin couldn't go with Nick because of commitments back in Colombia.
Everyone said, oh, like, can't Orlin go with you? Well, no, he can't go with me because who's going to watch the birds? Who's going to watch the cat? Who's going to pay the bills for the house? You know, who's going to do the electricity for the apartment? Who's going to pay the internet? Like, he can't just come with me, and I don't even know where I'm going. You guys don't even know where I'm going.
Also, around this time, fans were quick to start connecting the dots with Nick's emotional videos, as one person commented, he's always wearing red when he cries. Which is so true, because this was the beginning phase of Nick's signature red shirts that he still wears to this day and buys by the bundle at his local Walmart. While Nick trolls us now, and he goes all in with his red shirts, I think that this happened by coincidence, and then he just played it up after that. By this point, it was the end of the year, and 2017 had been one hell of a year for Nick and Orlin. They were working on trust issues with the cheating, they got married, and Nick was getting deported. And in true Nikocado fashion, drama was once again around the corner. This time, he really upset some of his viewers, and here's what happened. Nick had other accounts outside of YouTube like Patreon and YouNow, where he would discuss even more intimate and personal details about his life. And he was venting about certain things that were bothering him that he obviously wanted to keep private. But one of his patrons leaked the video. So he decided to address the drama up front, and he released the full video for everyone to see on his YouTube channel. And in it, he said some not so nice things about Colombia.
You know, when you fight with your husband or whatever, and he's blaming me for the deportation and I'm blaming him, we're blaming each other. Oh, you should have known, oh, it's your fault. Well, you're the one who brought me here. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. The only reason I'm in this shithole is because of him. The only reason I'm fucking in this shithole. And there's a lot of things I love about Colombia. There's a lot of things I love about being here. Obviously, my family's here. Obviously, there are pluses and minuses to every situation, but I'm sorry, I would not choose to live here if it weren't for him. And so we're playing the blame game. You guys think it's whatever, I'm gonna get deported. No, it's a toll on our whole family, on our whole wake up each day. What do you think about? Oh, you think about when the fuck am I gonna get kicked out of here? So it's just been rough. it was bad at first, then we got over it, and then it started to get bad again. So I haven't made any videos. I haven't been in the spirits too.
You know how we talked about Orland's frustrations? Basically, Orland was sick and tired of their lives being on YouTube. He despised all of the online hate that they got. Well, around this time is when we first heard Nick publicly starting to vocalize the disdain and frustrations that he had about the relationship. He obviously did not like living in Colombia, even though Orland loved it so much. He really started to voice his frustrations with Orland and also talked about the differences between them. Their personalities and how they handle things is polar opposite of each other.
Anyways. Please leave a nice comment for me or something. Like, it might sound conceited, it might seem like, oh, I need attention. Well, you know what, when you are having a bad day, some people hide like a turtle, like him, or people like me that need to talk it through, and I don't have anyone to talk it through, honestly.
I want to thank you guys for being there for me and trying to cheer me up and letting me vent. Orland and I are very different. When we deal with stress, I like to talk it out, cry it out. He keeps it bubbled in, and he wants to be alone and go plant flowers and talk to his fish, you know, like very solitary by himself, where I am the opposite.
So they were fighting a lot around this time, especially with all the stress and frustrations as they pointed blame at each other for the deportation. My guess is that they fought more than just about the deportation. They still had so many other underlying issues like the cheating, the lack of trust, where they lived, how they ate, and their health choices. There was a lot there to unpack. And it's crazy because now they air their fights and grievances basically every day. But back then, when Nick and Orland were fighting, Nick would stay off of social media.
You're probably wondering where are the videos. Well, I've made a bunch of videos on this channel, on here, on Patreon, but I haven't made any videos for like 5 days, and it's because me and Orland are not getting along.
He talked about how his life was like a reality TV show, and it really is.
I say to myself, why is something always happening? One thing after another. It never ends. It never ends. I swear my life should be a reality TV show. Well, then again, most reality TV shows are fake, right? They make people really drunk, so they start fighting. They make people, like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of setup going on. Well, mine, for whatever reason, has always been so chaotic.
Nick said he has always had a flair for the dramatics, and this was even way before YouTube. And honestly, I feel like some people are just more dramatic than others. And there is a part of his behavior that I'm sure is just part of his personality. Even his parents had to mentally prepare in order for Nick to stay with them while he figured out his deportation situation.
By the way, my parents eventually did get back to me. My mom, my dad said you can come here. It took them a few days to do it, but they did. So they're preparing mentally, emotionally. It's gonna be crazy.
With a few days left before the new year was over, they seemed to have gotten over their huge fights, and they were filming more videos together, which was an indication back then that things were on the mend. During their last video together before 2018 came around, Orland brought up that he was okay being in an open relationship with Nick. Which, listen, I'm not gonna knock what two people decide to do in their relationship. But the problem that I have is why Orland was okay with it.
Do you want to tell them what you told me today? Because I was completely shocked. I was like,
oh, isn't that for you now? That's something we say for you now.
Well, let's give the little people inside.
Well, I was telling him that it's okay if he has more encounters with apostles if he records it and shows me. Because he'll probably do it anyway.
That's not true.
Honestly, this means that he's really not okay with it. He's saying, I don't trust you not to do it again. So go ahead and do it and then tell me and I'll be okay with it. Like, what? That just doesn't sit well with me because it's obvious that at this point, the cheating that Nick had done from years ago still bothered Orlin now. They also had conversations about where they wanted to move next. And as we already know, Orlin loves being in Colombia, so that really wasn't even his conversation. But Nick expressed how he really wanted them to move to Florida. And Orlin didn't seem too happy about the idea.
Oh, shush, you'll love the United States. I'm trying to make him go to the West Coast.
Yeah.
Maybe on my deportation, say I get deported for 2 years, I will take little trips to the West Coast and like find what's good, you know?
West Coast?
West Coast.
You want to go to the West Coast?
Yes.
You know how far that is from your parents or my parents' place?
So?
That's like, it's like going to fucking Hawaii.
Do you know how far your mom is from all the Colombians? Excuse me.
Not that far.
Also, Orlin was still disciplined during this time, and he was starting a guacamole cleanse. And man, this dude has the discipline just to be able to sit there while Nick is eating that pasta. Like, good on him.
Very cheesy and a lot of calories.
Yes.
I'm not eating any of this.
Oh yeah, show them what you're eating. Of course, Orlin, you guys know.
I'm on a diet. It's called the guac cleanse. It's the new Mexican trend.
And pans don't look. This brightness needs to come up. There we go.
So this is what I'm eating, guacamole. This is basically all I eat.
That's why he's so healthy looking.
All I eat is guacamole.
He looks so good. And this is all I eat, basically.
I love the New Year's resolutions and predictions that they had going into the new year.
Where do you and Orlin see yourself next year? Goals 2018.
Fat.
Fat. In the United States. In the United States.
Eating my feelings.
Oh, how accurate they would be. Sadly, Nick was deported in February of 2018, and to make matters worse, this year would be one of the most trying years for them as a couple. Nick vlogged his travels while he flew home to his parents' house. He did a mukbang to discuss his entire deportation experience and mentioned that he was really stressed and really sad.
This isn't Photoshop, this is for real. I came home from a very stressful, sad plane ride, well, multiple plane rides, and I'm finally here, and I came home to this, and I am just so grateful. I can't thank you enough. As you can see, I am somewhere new. I'm in my house right now. This is the house I grew up in, at my parents' house. And this is the first mukbang I've made after my travels. I got deported. I'm gonna tell you the whole story. The police first came to my house and they were supposed to handcuff me and take me there. All I had to do was sign a paper. However, they had to meet me, or well, not them, but other police officers at the airport had to coordinate the whole, make sure I'm getting on. And people are like, why the police getting involved? And the reason is this is a legal process.
So with Nick being officially deported and Orlin staying in Colombia, this would be a lot of stress on their relationship. And a huge warning sign for the relationship back then was that there were no videos specifically focused on talking about Orlin, which is always a bad sign. Instead, Nick was posting away on his channels doing tons and tons of mukbangs. While he was staying at his childhood home, we also got a glimpse into his family life and his family dynamics. We briefly mentioned his dad previously, but this was the first time we saw him on camera.
Meet my dad. Hello, this is my dad, and he's joining me today for the first time ever.
Here he is doing a mukbang with Nick, and they joke about how even as a little baby, Nick was destined to be a mukbanger.
When you were little and you were eating the batter, the chocolate batter.
Uh-huh.
I was going to use that as your first mukbang.
Oh, really? Oh, that's a good idea because it's food. That's what I used to do.
In front of the stove. We'd like to buy plenty of goodies.
In
Chips.
bulk. That was my
Yeah.
favorite part about growing up in this house was there was always food. I was destined to be a mukbanger.
So Nick was going to be living with his family for a while, and he planned on making more videos with them in the future.
I'm here for a long time. I'm gonna be making videos, so I can do another with him. Maybe want to see my mom, another with my sister. So I'm with my family right now. So if you guys want to see more special guests of my family, let me know in the comment section.
And a few weeks later, he did a mukbang with his sister Maggie. But this wasn't any ordinary mukbang. This particular mukbang would affect Nick for a while, as she said some things about his relationship that really hurt him.
You guys, I just got back from Applebee's and I'm starving. I'm so hungry. Hey, what's going on? Guess what? I have a special guest. You probably can see from the thumbnail. I'm having my sister hang out with me and eat this Applebee's with me. Grab some food and let's feast. Maggie, remember when we got married and Orlin was too embarrassed to kiss me in front of Mom and Dad?
No.
Yeah, I went in for it. And, well, he just wanted to hug, and I made him kiss me. But we were talking about the whole night before. He's like, Nick, I don't kiss in front of my mom. I don't even hold your hand in front of my mom. I like to keep private. I was like, Orlin, it's a wedding. They don't care. They really want to see their son happy. They're like, yeah, we're happy. Excuse me, you're happy, but you don't have to kiss me. And so I had to like go in there and make him kiss me.
You don't deserve him.
Oh, I know. He's so good.
I love him.
He's just perfect.
He is.
Why do you say that? Because he's smarter and nicer?
Because he's better than you?
Yeah, but what do you mean better? He's nicer. He's cuter.
All of the above.
Huh?
All of the above.
All of the above, okay.
Now I can see where his feelings would be hurt because most of the time, your family has your back. But his sister decided to be very candid with him. He brushed it off during this video, but even years later, he would bring this up again about how this affected him deeply. So there was Nick in the United States, away from Orlin, and never really discussing or bringing up Orlin on his channel. And not just January, but February, March, April, May, June, which we know by now is never a good sign. And in July, out of nowhere, he uploaded a series of videos all about Orlin. And somehow he was back in Asia? So let's talk about some of the obvious factors here. He noticeably looks different, he's put on a little bit of weight, he's shaved his head, and some of his words are a little bit rambly. He was obviously in a lot of distress.
So I'm here in Asia, all by myself. Probably the best person that I ever met. And I know everyone says that when they're in love. Everyone says that when they get married. You know, my husband's the best thing that ever happened to me. My wife is the best thing that ever happened to me. And you know, it's so funny cliche, but I'm telling you, he's a really, really good person. Like what? Why is he so good? Why is he so good? Why is he so good? Why is he so good?
And this time, his behavior was really out of character for even Nick. And his audience was confused and worried all at the same time. He said some really odd things about Orlin, like,
my biggest fear ever is waking up one day and Orlin being dead. It's just terrible. It's what I have to live with. You don't even. It's. It's like this angel I got blessed with that came into my life. It just showed me how to be a good person and don't let it go early. It doesn't help that I'm obese.
I'm about to eat one of the world's fattiest and healthiest foods.
But in this video, it's the first time that Nick opens up about another struggle the two have dealt with as a couple, and one that they held pretty close to the chest until now.
So Orland's been sick for the longest time I've known him. He has an autoimmune disease. And it's a really bad one. There's no cure. There's not even that much known about it.
So here's where a lot of what Nick is going to say really fills in the missing pieces for us. With a lot of their fights, people just thought that they were trolling or being fake for the camera.
What do we argue about the most? Food?
And don't get me wrong, that does happen at some point later in the future. But back then, most of this was coming from a real place, and you can really understand a lot of where their stress was coming from.
I remember one time I came downstairs after we got in a fight. And he always says, "You're gonna kill me, you're gonna kill me, you're gonna kill me." Because I make him stressed, because I'm dramatic. And stress, if you don't know, fucks up your immune system. Stress hurts you. Most people like us, we get over it. But with someone like him, he starts bleeding everywhere. Literally his organs start shutting down. Then we went to Colombia because it's the only place that he could be able to deal with this.
So we learned that Nick also sacrificed a lot by moving to Colombia in order to be able to help support Orland with his medical needs.
And now, when I'm not even with him, when I've been fucking deported, gone through the worst shit in my entire life, I've wasted thousands of dollars. Not only on the deportation, but everything to take care of him. Why do you think I want to fucking live in Timbuktu? And if you're Colombian, I'm sorry, I'm not insulting your country, I'm just saying it's not my home.
And to add insult to injury, Orland told Nick around this time that he didn't really want to be with him anymore.
And now that I'm here, he tells me, don't come back. Let me go in peace. I just want to be with my fruit.
But he didn't want to break up for the reasons that you may think. He actually felt like his illness was too much of a burden for Nick to take on, and felt the best thing that he could do was let him go.
He keeps saying, Nick, you don't realize how much of a burden I am on you. You don't realize that you're miserable because of me. We shouldn't be together. We're trying to make it work. You have all these aspirations and dreams and goals. And I just want to, live under a fruit tree.
I wouldn't be surprised if Orland watched one of Nick's earlier videos from years prior, where he talked vaguely about Orland's health, but also he pondered about coming back to the United States to live.
They don't know the full story. They don't know everything I've been through. They don't know the reasons as to why I have to be in Colombia. They don't understand what's going on between me and Orland, and I don't feel comfortable saying all of the reasons just because it involves other people besides myself. And I just want people to know that I do the best I can. I do the best I can. I don't want to get into all the other reasons. I can't. And don't know, maybe I should quit. But I don't know what I would do. I would have to leave Orland and go to the States. I was tired, and I miss Orland because, like I said at the beginning of this video, he's not feeling well. And he says his bones hurt, and his joints hurt. And it hurts for him to breathe, and he has an oxygen mask on his face. There's nothing I can do for him. He's like an oxygen mask. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be dramatic. It's just my life. I try to keep it private. He went to this like raw food lifestyle because it's the only thing that helps keep him like mostly under control. But then I started eating other foods for my channel, and he wanted to, and then I'll ask him to, and then I'll say no, and then we kept fighting about the fucking food. The problem is that diet that he's doing, it might work for his disease, but it's not working for regular human beings. So he has to fight the knowledge that he knows his diet's gonna make him sick because it's fucking like no calcium, no fucking half the amino acids, no lysine, very little iron, not enough B vitamins. So he deteriorates this way, or he eats more normally and he deteriorates because his disease kills him.
So now, finally, all of the little pieces are starting to fall into place, and it really gives us insight into them as a couple, their struggles, their life. It makes so much more sense now.
Why do you think on my Instagram I've been posting more and more, trying to like exercise and encourage myself and you guys, because I feel like while this all happened, he also stopped being attracted to me because he kept saying over and over like, you know, I can't stand when I look at you or something, or like, you're not the man that I fell in love with when I first found you. So he's less attracted to me because I'm fat. Oh my god. I want people to stop asking me about Nick. I am over him. This is on my Instagram. He deserves someone better than me. I have been nothing but a burden on him since the start of our relationship. My health problems are for me alone to face. I regret getting married now because it's a huge mess to be breaking up internationally. I just want to be by myself and with my friends and my pets. Whatever happens to me, it happens to me, and I'm done making Nick suffer along with me. I'm over and done with him.
This was a really trying time for both of them. And Nick was in Thailand trying to reflect and figure out what he was going to do with his life moving forward. So while this whole breakup drama was playing out on the internet, another infamous YouTube couple at the time were going through a huge breakup as well. Remember the iconic Trisha Paytas, "Jason broke up with me because I'm fat" video?
He said, you know, they were comparing us to another travel YouTube couple, and he said, yeah, except me and Trish were both fat.
These two dramas happened days apart, and people were telling him that his drama with Orland was fake and that they were just trying to copy Trisha Paytas.
First of all, let's just bring up the fact. Oh, he's trying to be like Trisha and Jason. Oh, it just looks like Jason and Trisha. Oh my gosh, he's sticking to something. I don't give a shit who these people have nothing to do with this situation. I'm literally so pissed right now. You see other people on YouTube, and all of a fucking sudden, everyone else is molding their lives to be like them. Bitch, please, I have been going through this for weeks. I made my video, like, what was it, 9 days, 8 days before Trisha? This is not about Trisha. This has nothing to do with Trisha. Just because you see an example on the internet does not mean that applies to everyone else.
Not only that, but these comments were really getting to Nick, and he was not in a good space mentally.
Bitch, no. Bye. You can go play hippity skips all you want. Goodbye. I am done. I have nothing left inside of me. I am dry. I have cried myself to sleep for 4 nights. For 4 nights in a row. That is something that he has been dealing with for his whole life. Ask anybody that knows him, any of his friends, any of his family members. And how fucking dare you say, oh, he's only using Orland's sickness for views. I'm using Orland's sickness for views. Give me a video title right now in the comment section. Give me a video where I have ever used his illness in the title of a video, let alone the content of a video. Ever! Can you think of one? No, you can't. Sick. Everything is fake. Nick is clearly fake tonight. Everything is fake. You know what's fake? You.
And by the end of the month, we finally got to hear from Orland himself and his thoughts behind the reasoning for wanting to part ways with Nick.
This didn't just happen overnight. This has been a struggle, a fight that we've been going through for many months, for many years. And when Nick got deported, I got the opportunity to set him free. When he went to the US, I decided that it was time to set him free from having to see me go through what I'm going through with my illness. And I really just want the best for Nick. And sometimes when you love someone, you're better off letting them be free and maybe love somebody else. It's not fair to Nick to have to see me go through this. And he works his butt off and he tries to help me, but there's nothing to do. And I just feel very bad. It takes a lot of love to be able to let someone go. And I do love Nick, but I love him enough to know that he's better off on his own. I've realized that not everything lasts forever, that not everything is curable, not everyone lives forever, and some people just can't have a love story. And I may just be one of those, and I honestly just want to be alone.
At this point, Nick was really going through it. 1 month later, Nick posted a really old video from a year prior that was right before he left for his trip to Vegas, where he filmed a whole bunch of collabs with Hungry Fat Chick. At the time, I'm sure he didn't want to post it because they were very candid about Orland's health problems, but he didn't mind posting it now because Orland was okay sharing that with the world.
I ruined our relationship. Let's just eat. Okay. What do you want me to think it is? What do you want me to think it is? You want me to just go to a doctor? Oh yeah, it's a type of cancer. How do you want to get treated? Do you want me to just do that?
No. Well, yeah, wouldn't you rather know?
You want me to get chemo? Will that make me better? With my is get chemo?
You wouldn't do chemo, but you would know.
Then what's the point of going? So I just get stressed out about having cancer now. On top of it's like the fucking cherry on top that I don't want. I would rather not think about it.
Okay. So what's your plan then?
Just let it be. If it's whatever it is, and go on its own. I don't know.
Not only that, there was a point where Orlin walked out of the room to get something, and Nick opened up to the camera and discussed his honest, most inner thoughts.
That's good. I feel so stuck here. I love him, but everything he goes through, just, you have no idea.
He likes both things, chicken and ramen.
Is that light okay?
Yeah.
He gets to try one.
These two had a lot of issues that they were trying to deal with together, and a lot of stuff was happening behind the scenes. Aside from that huge public breakup, both Orlin and Nick remained relatively quiet about their relationship from that point forward until right before the end of the year, when they surprised their audience with a revealing video of them on camera together. Towards the end of 2018, November to be exact, Nick started his video with very familiar music and from a very familiar place.
Did you miss me? Yes. You did? I miss nice Nicks.
I spy with my little eye. Miss Kitty Mush Mush, slut in the hut. She's letting it all hang out today. Ooh, Miss Kitty.
Why are you looking at me like that? I have to be nice. We're back home. Shooby-doo. We're home. Hello. We're back home.
Okay, you guys, I'm back home. This is our reunion.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but for me, it was so nice to see these two back together and not fighting and truly appreciating each other. In this video, Nick explained that they had been working through a lot as a couple for months, but they felt that now was the time to be more candid about their struggles with their audience.
We've had to go through stuff off camera. We have been through, I don't want to cry in this video. I really don't want to cry. We have been through hell and back. Like, seriously, what we have gone through, you have no idea, okay? We have,
Okay.
we have gone through so much. Okay, most couples would not have made it this far. With the whole visa thing, I had to leave him every 2 months for years. It's just, do you know what it's like to be deported? Do you know how awful that was? None of you guys know. None of you know. It was hard. It was really, really hard. It strained our relationship. Orlin's been through a lot of stuff with his illness, and he's disclosed it a few times on his Instagram or whatever. He wasn't in the best mindset. I wasn't in the best mindset because I was deported, and it was just awful. It was so awful.
I can't even imagine the stress that this put both of them under. And I think Nick is right when he says that many couples probably wouldn't have lasted through all of this turmoil. Also, Nick once again addressed those who questioned if he was trolling his audience about their relationship.
I feel like you guys really have to try and put yourself in my perspective and his perspective and just take it for what it's worth. I know this is on YouTube, and it made me so upset when it's like, well, if it's on YouTube, it must be made up. Do you think I would make up being separated for 7 months? Do you think I would make up anything? Do you think I would willingly do that? Like, I know I'm crazy, I know I have emotional problems, but I would never, ever, ever do something like that. And I know that's the first thing that comes to your guys' mind. He's copying Trisha because they broke up. It's like, okay, people who actually stage stuff like that, they get back together the next week, which they did, didn't they? I'm not saying they staged it, but I'm just saying it's more likely if you're gonna get back together in a week or a month, and every couple has their fights and stuff. Every couple goes through their disagreements. But I'm telling you, no one fakes it for a year or a half a year. And that makes me really, really upset because there's been so much pain for both of us.
And it's important to note that even by the end of the year, Orlin was still on his diet and not eating what Nick was eating during his mukbangs.
This is rainbow noodles.
Yeah, rainbow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Orlin, tell them what you're eating. He's not gonna eat this with me.
I'm on a diet. I want fruits and vegetables. Healthy.
Since we last saw Nick, he said he'd lost a significant amount of weight, but also that he had been eating his feelings.
I know my double chin's grown a lot, you guys. I've been eating my feelings. I went on a diet when I was at my parents' and I lost like 20 pounds.
Yep.
But I'm starting to gain it back. But don't worry, it's just water weight. I clearly know how to lose weight when I want to. I just don't want to do it right now.
That same premonition that they had a year prior came true.
Where do you and Orlin see yourself next year? Goals 2018. Fat. In the United States.
Eating my feelings.
They really seemed to be in good spirits and wanted to forgive and move on with their lives together from this point forward. And even more important, they both admitted the part that they played in their separation and huge public fight.
For how many months it was back and forth. If I sat here and talked about it in every single mukbang, it would have ruined my whole channel. It would have turned into a 6-month drama. I made my videos right, which I'm gonna delete, the ones where I was crying and stuff. And I never spoke of it again because I was unsure, and he changed his mind, I changed my mind, he blocked me, I blocked him, he wanted me to come back, then he's like, no, F you, stay there, and then it was not something that you want to be involved in to that degree.
They even discussed their plans going forward doing mukbangs together, as that was a huge point of contention in the past. So at this time, Orlin still wanted to be involved in Nick's mukbangs, but only on occasional cheat meals because he really wanted to stay disciplined and eat healthy a majority of the time. Which we know by now is more than just a lifestyle choice, but also for his own very serious health reasons. So they tried to maturely work together and compromise their major priorities, which was really so nice to see.
Do you forgive me for everything?
Well, do you forgive me for what I've done?
Yeah, of course.
And I forgive you.
You had a more of an excuse, so here's the problem.
Well, I'm not as dramatic as he is.
I overreact.
I tend to keep to myself and just do my own thing. And I tend to just like hide in a little box when I have issues because I'm antisocial.
And I tend to grab the camera and start crying.
Yeah, I'm just a little effed up in the head too. We're both a little crazy, aren't we?
No, and I feel like it's all my fault. You're never gonna be the same.
Yeah. Well, life sucks. We're together now. That's all that matters.
I know.
In addition, Orlin was done officially with YouTube, at least his original YouTube channel. So he decided to give it to Nick.
Because it's like the doctor says, stay away from sugar. It doesn't mean you can't have it at all. It's just like for the majority of the week, make sure it's low. So he still wants to do videos with me. I want to do a few videos with him where we can have a treat of noodles or something.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about what he's comfortable doing. Mm-hmm. But you guys know he doesn't eat that way normally ever. You know, if he'll post 5 videos, with me, those were spread out for a long time, or he'll go like 3 weeks without touching anything again, so.
I tried to stay on a diet, but diets aren't really fun, are they?
No, they're not. This is so good. You know when there's relationship issues and there's a breakup in a marriage and they get back together? Well, both those people did something to make the break. It wasn't just one person. And it doesn't... Listen, he's done with YouTube. Obviously, he gave me his channel.
They were acting way more mature than how we are used to seeing them act on camera today. Even Orlin went on camera to publicly apologize to Nick's audience, and for Nick personally for publicly airing out their drama. And he gave insight into his mindset that made him act the way that he did at the time.
I want to apologize to all of you publicly because I broke up with my husband publicly in a very immature way over an Instagram message. I want you guys to know from my perspective why some things happened. As you probably know by now, I have an autoimmune disease and I had to take some very strong medications, including corticosteroids and immunosuppressant drugs, which alter my mental stability and I kind of go a little crazy. And that altered the way I thought, the way I spoke. I was in remission before all of this, and then I just got sick really suddenly, very drastically, and I had to take a lot of very bad medications that really cloud my judgment, and that's also part of why I said a lot of things, because I wasn't in my right state of mind. The deportation really made it a lot more difficult too. It made everything it just made everything worse. It was unexpected, it was bad, it was out of stress. I had to deal with a lot of lawyers, immigration officers, and it was just like the straw that broke the camel's back. And under my videos and Nick's videos saying that I am with Nick for money and I'm with Nick for fame and I want to be a big YouTuber. And I just want to let you guys know that that's not true. When I first met Nick, he was on food stamps and he was basically homeless. I took him into my house, well, my family's house, my mother's house, and I supported him for 3 years off camera. And never did I think he was going to be a big YouTuber, and he didn't think he was going to be a big YouTuber. I just saw him as somebody that needed help, and I wanted to help him. And I want you to know that I don't ask him for money and he doesn't give me an allowance, and I'm a pretty simple guy and I don't need expensive things and expensive clothing. I like a simple life. Colombia is a pretty affordable place and I'm able to sustain myself just fine. I had to go to hospitals. I mean, I was like basically bottled up in a hospital and I was, you know, getting lonely and I was spiraling downhill mentally. I was kind of paranoid. And it was just very hard, and I was alone in my house. Again, this is not an excuse for how I treated him, but I'm just trying to explain from my perspective. For those of you wondering about my health, I'm actually doing a lot better. I'm in remission right now. I'm following a healthy diet, mostly raw diet. Yeah, I have some cheat days, but I'm overall eating pretty healthy, and I'm feeling so much better.
So, all was well in the world for the avocados. So not only were they back together, but other exciting news happened just a month later. In December of that year, Nick announced that he was no longer in Colombia, and he could not contain his excitement.
As I swear, it's like this genuine rush of happiness, and that's because I'm out of Colombia for good. Yay! Aren't you guys happy for me? Yeah, I'm in Pennsylvania. And yeah, I left Orlin and I'm never ever going back. Now I know it's a kind of clickbait title, but it's not clickbait because it's true. I'm never going back and I'm never ever gonna be there ever again. In Colombia, there's no Taco Bell, there's no KFC, there's no Chick-fil-A, oh god no, Wingstop, Checkers and Sonic, oh my, none of that stuff exists. All I eat is noodles, and I was getting sick of noodles, you were getting sick of noodles.
However, as he went on and on about how he was happy to never be living in Colombia again, it only made me wonder, what was Orlin thinking? Because he loves Colombia and he would be fine living there forever.
I'm never setting foot back there again. And I say it with a smile on my face because yes. Yes. I speak English. I want to be able to drive a car without worrying about someone like getting me. I want to be able to like walk around. I want to be able to just go to a cafe and be like, hello, how are you? And not be like, you're a tourist. you're white, you must be rich. Wow, we're gonna track you down. And now I'm a target. Like, and that's not just exclusive to Colombia. That's any country that's not really touristy. Like going to Thailand's different because they have a tourism infrastructure and people have been going there for decades from all over the world. Colombia is not a touristy place.
You can feel the enthusiasm in Nick's voice, and he was so ready to put 2018 behind him for good.
Like, I miss Taco Bell and I miss Chick-fil-A and I want to do some homemade stuff. I missed Walmart. You guys take Walmart for granted. I love, like, Orla and I were just like, we miss Walmart. We miss Costco. That's like such a beautiful luxury that the people in the United States get, you know, Americans. Just simple things that you take for granted that I miss dearly. So anyways, we're moving back here, but I'm staying with my family through the holidays. He's going to be in Colombia with his family through the holidays, wrapping everything up. I'm excited to just move here. I'm excited to bring Mr. Noodle and Miss Kitty. I'm excited for presents. I'm excited for hot chocolate and cookies. We are gonna have a blast. And I have had such a hard 2018. It nearly killed me. I mean, I know I said I was a joyful, spirited person, but that was a real big blow, okay? 2019, new chapter, new beginning, new life. New apartment. New. I'm ready for it, you guys.
He was in good spirits and was so ready for 2019, where he would be living with Orlin in the United States. And I wish this could have been a fairy tale ending from this point on. But as we all know, things just got worse from here. So the first blow in 2019 was when Nick learned that Colombia did not grant permission for Mr. Noodle to come to the United States.
I'm sorry. Mr. Noodle's no longer in my life. And that's the truth. I loved Mr. Noodle. He was like my best friend. But I was sitting down. This is before I even did mukbangs. I was just vlogging my life in Colombia. Trying to get by. You know, just like, hey, I'm living in Colombia. I have no money. And Orly got Mr. Noodle as a gift to us to brighten us up because we were kind of sad that these were our circumstances. And Orly got really, really sick. And we had no choice but to live there. And we got Mr. Noodle as a gift to ourselves to cheer us up.
This is not the best way to ring in the new year. But the pair moved on, and soon they were both in Florida. And they seemed pretty happy, even Orlin. They even discussed how they were feeling living in the Sunshine State a few weeks after Orlin arrived.
Okay, so yeah, Florida, it's convenient. It has all the fast food for me. It's cheap to buy a car, so I need to buy another car.
And for me, it's the best citrus in the world and the best mangoes in the world.
Your fruits.
Yes. And I also have a lot of friends that I really want to see again in Florida.
Yeah, we do have some good friends because we lived there first.
I have a really good friend that has a mango farm, and I just love her.
Of all the United States, he needs to be on like a fruit-heavy diet. California grows fruits, but it's expensive.
I don't like the California fruits. Never have.
Hawaii grows really good fruits, but yeah, it's too expensive. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to live on an island in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, Florida it is.
And it's also important to note the little comments that Orlin would make when he references back to Nick cheating. And I think it means that he is not over it. Although, how does someone really get over that? It's a pretty hard thing to do.
He also laughs to cope with stuff. You know, like remember that video we made, like why we broke up, and I'm talking about the time I cheated, and you're like, hee 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 hee. He's just laughing about it. Yeah.
I mean, it's so funny. I got cheated on 12 times.
We're past that, right? Nick, you have nothing to apologize for. Beep. Did you hear what I just said? I cheated on him.
That was fun.
I have a lot to apologize for. Maybe he broke up with me because he was sick of all the stuff I did.
You know what else was fun? Having that doctor look at our peepees.
Yeah.
That was fun.
So here's the troubling part. Aside from these few videos during the beginning of 2019, Orlin pretty much remained out of Nick's videos. It was hard to gauge at the time if this was an indication of problems in their relationship, because at one time it was. But Orlin did vow to be done with YouTube, which is why Nick took over his YouTube channel. So his absence didn't seem odd at the time. But in November, they posted a shocking video together, and things were not looking hopeful.
Sorry. You don't think for me anymore. You don't. You don't.
I think we need therapy. We need somebody to help us.
How? What the heck? What would anyone say or do?
I don't know. We just need help.
The two looked noticeably different once again, and it appeared as though they had been fighting quite a lot. While they discussed that they are not getting along, there were no specific problems stated, but it's my guess that this is all a culmination from the old baggage and issues that they've had in the past.
Like, we just don't get along anymore.
I know. I love you and I don't, and I do and I don't, and I like being with you and I don't like being with you. And you make me angry and they make me happy. It's just it's a roller coaster.
We can't go on like this.
No.
I don't know what to do. We need someone to guide us. I don't know. We just keep hurting each other.
Like back there, I didn't recognize you when you were doing that. You don't recognize me, do you?
I don't know. It's just like I try to make things work with you, but like it just doesn't work anymore. It's just so much going on.
Throughout their relationship, there has been talks of possibly breaking up, and that discussion has always been initiated by Orlin. He seemed to be struggling with what would make him happy, and also that he could not make Nick happy.
I feel like I would be so sad. I'd be so sad. I'd be so lost if you left. I'd be so lost. What would you feel like? Would you be lost or happy? You seemed like you'd be happier.
I don't know.
The fact that you don't know BTS. I don't know.
But Orlin did offer another solution.
I think we both might need to get medicated.
Probably one of the smartest things Orlin ever mentioned was that they should go to couples counseling.
What do you want to do? I think we need like marriage counseling or something. I don't want that. I think we need it. You actually. Yeah, you need to stop taking divorce. You gotta take meds. Yeah, I do.
The problem is that Nick was not about that, and I could not find a time where they referenced going to couples counseling after that. It was really insightful to hear Orlin tell Nick that they needed to have more people and more outlets in their life, that they couldn't be each other's everything.
You used to be so happy. I know. No, we're not. We're always like having fights. Just scary fights. You know, scary. You scared me so bad today. You scared me so bad. Do you know that you scared me? We used to never fight. You scared me. But today, Orlin. Today was really scary. We just don't get along anymore. Stop. We were so nice to each other back then. We were. And it's my fault, right? It's both our faults. Mostly mine. I think you need to be medicated. You need to talk to someone other than me. You don't have many people to talk to. I don't. I make videos like this. Like we don't have. Even I don't have anyone. I don't have anybody. Like we moved so far from family, and like we don't have friends because you two. My parents are in Pennsylvania. Your parents are 3 hours south. And it's hard to make friends because you too. People want to use me. People want shout-outs. People want followers. People want to expose me.
And I really hate adding insult to injury, but just a few weeks after this, Nick would be hit with one of the biggest scandals of his YouTube career when Stephanie Sue dropped a bombshell tell-all video about her experience with him. Probably this is not the best way to end an already crappy year for our couple. All of these things hit Nick at once, and his relationship was once again in an unstable and uncertain place.
I love you. You love me too. Do you? You do. And I stand before you today to tell you and I'm broken. I am so broken. I don't know how to go on. Because right now, the entire internet is against me. The entire internet thinks that I am a monster, a liar, and so much more beyond that. It's come to a point where this thing on YouTube that I'm doing, Nikocado Avocado, it's not worth it. And I have to end it. I have to close the chapter. You know, I have been trying to be here for my subscribers, rain or shine. Rain or shine, no excuses, I'm here and I show up. Whether I'm in a happy mood or I'm in a sad mood. And that's just not enough. That's just not enough.
So in January of 2020, Nick was still dealing with the aftermath of the Stephanie Sue incident and how everyone was turning against him. He was officially the YouTube supervillain at that time. And it's my belief that this changed the course of how he presented himself to his audience by not being as vulnerable and where he started to do more trolling. By trolling his audience, it was easier for him to mask his feelings and his hurt, and I think it was easier for him to deal with the negativity like this from this point forward. Honestly, after this whole incident, it was not long after that where Nick and Orlin created their sideshow with the daily fights from this point forward. But I do believe that in January, the fighting between Nick and Orlin was still very real and raw.
The man of my life is questioning whether he wants to stay with me. And we have been married for years. We have been together for years. And he walked into my life and he showed me the world.
A lot of their old issues were brought up again, especially how Orlin was sick and tired of social media and YouTube. Nick vented about how much YouTube had affected their relationship.
You know, my husband is getting so much criticism right now. And I swear on my life, if this was my deathbed, which it could be because I eat shit for a living, it could be my deathbed right here. It could be. I could die in one of these videos. But I swear on my life that the only pure and good thing to ever happen to my life, the only good and pure thing to ever happen to my life was Orlin.
All of their issues were brought up at once again, and Orlin told Nick some pretty candid truths about what he was feeling.
And you know what? All of your comments over the past month are seeping into his head. They are seeping into his head, and he is questioning us as a couple. And it's because of YouTube. My husband told me today that he's gonna move back to his father's house for a couple of weeks. And I sensed it, I knew it was coming. He disabled his Facebook yesterday. He disabled his Instagram, or I don't know if he did it yet, but my husband, Orlin, is tired of social media. Tired of it. And if we divorce because of this YouTube, I'm quitting.
I uploaded a video yesterday called Nikocado Vegan Days versus Now. And Orlin was watching it. And he looked at me at the end of it and said, "This is the man that I married. Not this." And he pointed right at me and he said, "Not this."
So a month passes by, and the couple is once again on camera doing a mukbang. But what's different about this video is that Orlin is not sitting next to Nick with his bowl of fruit or vegetables. He's eating what Nick's eating, and at this point he looks miserable.
I love you. I feel better when I take a bite, and you know it. But I had no breakfast.
Why would you destroy the walls like that?
Because I'm angry.
You hit the trim on purpose.
I'm very angry.
You're so mean. You're so evil. You're like that filthy that he took you for word. You're just like that. You're like that. You just hate you. You're evil.
It was an accident.
It was not an accident.
No,
but
because you're
promise
mad.
me that after
Because you're mad.
Of course I'm mad.
Okay,
promise me that after this video you're going to make an appointment with the doctor to get your hypoglycemia fixed. It's ridiculous that all our fights are caused because of your blood sugar. You need to get it checked. It's been years. It's been years.
Thing too. Here, you need to please promise me not to get mad at me if I'm having one of my episodes and I throw a shoe on the wall. That's not.
Stop throwing shoes at the wall.
But that's not personally against you. That's not like, oh, I'm trying.
It's like a child acting up to get the parents' attention.
Okay, but whatever. I'm angry. That's just how it is.
We'll get a squeeze ball. Get a stress ball.
Okay, but you also personal. Like I'm trying to target you or something.
Well, you're trying to get my attention, and you got it. Go to the doctor. Do you want me to drive you to the doctor?
Well, I'm gonna listen. I already took a bite. I'm already starting to feel better.
You say this every day, though.
For as much as Nick encourages Orlin to get help for his medical problems, Orlin is equally as encouraging to Nick to get help with his mental problems.
There's like medicated Nick. Yeah, like I think he has borderline personality disorder.
Oh no.
Like it's like living with like multiple people. I like how thoughtful you are. You're thoughtful.
Am I? Does that too?
Yeah, you're thoughtful. Yeah. He can be very nice. Like really, really nice. Like he's a nice guy.
So nice,
but he's medicated. Yeah,
nice.
Very nice.
And believe it or not, once again, Orlin brought up the cheating incident.
How many people have I hooked up with? 4 in the whole time I've known you? What?
The apostles.
Before, we're not counting those.
He said before I met you.
Okay.
We don't count that. We count the other 3 or 4.
So as we know by now, Nick kind of runs things in the relationship, which if we remember, was not always the case.
It's 50-50.
I'm not allowed to use my new phone because we have to open it at the same time. We have to set it up at the same time, and he wants to download the apps for me that he thinks I should have.
No, it's not all that.
Literally what he told me. Like he has like OCD and
It's not all that. It's that.
By the end of the video, these two seem to calm down and be more friendly towards each other. And some therapists believe that how a couple can make up is more important than the frequency of their fights. And it seems like the good news with this couple is that although these two can get in some pretty nasty fights, they are always able to make up relatively quickly. But their consistent themes of tension kept getting brought up video after video, including the cheating and especially how mukbangs affect Orlin's ability to stick to his diet, which is still an issue years later.
Does Orlin like your weight? You better make an answer now.
I like you healthy.
AKA no.
Actually, that one time we had a fight, he threatened to leak something.
So here's the deal, guys. Pretty much after this video, they really started trolling their audience. And to me, they're now somewhat of a comedy duo. They can be outrageous, and the audience can get sick of their antics. And I'm sure there are little truths weaved into the narrative, but I feel like right now they've kind of modeled themselves after Trisha Paytas, who modeled herself after Andy Kaufman. And who knows if they will ever go back to sharing their actual lives and being completely vulnerable. They certainly have gotten burned for it in the past, and this may be the best way for them to protect themselves and shield their relationship from any more stress and scrutiny. However, there is always a possibility that their fights, especially Orlin always saying how he wants to leave Nick, or that he left Nick, or that he's back with Nick. I mean, maybe it's all real. Maybe it's not an act. But for me personally, I can see how their behaviors and their online personas changed after the Stephanie Sue incident. So probably after this video is posted, there's gonna be 100 more makeup and breakup videos and 200 more food fight videos. And maybe one day they actually really will break up. I hope that doesn't happen. I mean, relationships are difficult to navigate, and opposites really do and can attract. And I'm wishing them the best. Hope they actually take marriage counseling seriously and go one day. And I wish them years and years of happiness, and hope that one day they can live happily ever after, even if it is just off camera and out of the public eye. I think you guys were able to see the evolution of their relationship in real time. And I hope you guys have a better understanding and appreciation for both Nick and Orlin as people, but also as a couple. So I will be monitoring these two, and hell, I may do a follow-up video in the future because I find these two fascinating. Now, I'm not saying goodbye because I have so many more videos for us to watch next. So click here and meet me over there for our next adventure.